I'm Anthony, town hauler, official idiot, and longtime professional pullout. This is the first in a series where I'll be interviewing members of our community. Right now I'm here with Ellie R. Hartz, local author, member of the LGBTQIA+ community. Ellie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm pretty good.
Awesome.
It's really warm out here today.
It is, but honestly, compared to the next couple of days, I'm thankful we're here today where it's
Seriously.
85 degrees compared to almost 100.
So we're here to talk about your book,
Yes.
Runaway Renegades.
Yes.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
I knew from a young age that I wanted to just be a weirdo. Weirdos make the world go round.
Interesting.
We make some of the best art and entertainment, and so as soon as I was born, my mom looked at me and she said, "Oh no, she's a weirdo."
What do you do for work?
So at the moment, I am currently an activity assistant for a nursing home, so I am the person who gets to go in and make everybody's day.
That's good.
Oh yeah, it's such a fun time hanging out with all my old daddies.
What are your hobbies?
So my hobbies, I have an entire list of them. I promise you we could be here all day. There's a reason why I call myself eclectic. So obviously I'm a writer. I'm also an artist. I actually drew the cover and all of the illustrations that you can find in the very back of the book. I have also a self-taught filmographer. Is it?
I think that's what you call it.
Yeah.
You work with film.
I work with film.
You take videos.
Yeah, I take videos.
Similar to this one.
Not just TikTok though, I promise.
Oh.
I promise. I also have a TikTok. We'll get to that later. So I've done that. I've worked with resin and clay. Like anything that my brain looks at and says, "Ooh, I want to do that," I do it.
So you could build a house.
Maybe not to that extent, but I could probably build a treehouse if I really tried.
Interesting. How long have you been writing?
So I have been writing technically since the 5th grade, but I've always been interested in writing from an earlier age. I started out with poetry. I had a wonderful substitute teacher that was with us, and she actually encouraged me to get up in front of the class and make a fool of myself by reading off my poetry that nobody clapped to. But you know what? I just didn't get that. I didn't let that get me down. I just kept going.
Well, here, we're clapping for you now.
Yay! Miss Zeiss, if you're watching, I love you. So yeah, I eventually moved on to writing actual fictional stories as I started growing. Back in middle school, I probably had 30 notebooks that were filled with original fictional stories that will probably never see the light of day. But
Maybe
this
they
one
will.
did.
Maybe they will. There'll be a journal release later with unreleased
maybe.
writings.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that could be.
What inspired you to write this book?
At the time when I was starting to write this book, I was in a very, very bad spot in my life. I was working a very soul-sucking job with people who did not appreciate any of my efforts.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. It happens, you know,
Does it really?
to the best of us.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I really needed an outlet to kind of escape from that reality for a little bit. And every day I would come in during my breaks and lunches, and I would just keep writing, and eventually this thing came out.
Beautiful. So can you tell us a little bit more about the book?
Sure. The book follows a man named Atlas King. He is a hitman for the seedy criminal organization known as the Mark of Cain. The organization hides behind the most popular nightclub in the Northwest Ohio area, the Glass Prism. His husband Malik, who is also a hitman in the organization, is on the search for his son, after his son was kidnapped at a very, very young age. Atlas is no contact with most of his family, except his brother Liam and his sister-in-law Hannah, who are both detectives for the local TPD. They have a young son named Rio, who Atlas and Malik adore and spoil to the end of the earth. However, one evening, a fire breaks out in Lee and Hannah's home. Atlas's nephew is the only person to survive, and weeks later, he finds out the fire was not an accident as the authorities claim.
That's sad.
It is very sad. So the book is essentially him enacting his quest for revenge on who killed his family.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Did you learn anything while writing this book?
Yes, I learned that when you're writing your first manuscript, your first draft, you gotta let it be dog shit. It's not, your first draft is not going to be perfect the first time, the second time, or even the third time. If I'm gonna be very honest with everybody, this book went through 7 drafts before it was published because I had no idea what I was doing.
Interesting. Did anything surprise you while writing this book?
I think it surprised me how emotional I got when I finished the first draft. You know, my characters went through an entire journey, and I took that journey with them. Not only did I finally leave, like, my soul-sucking, activities job, not the one I'm working right now.
No, I didn't think so.
No. But I was able to get into a place where I was not only able to pay off a majority of my debt and also afford, like, a very good editor. Shout out to Jasmine Shea, I love you, girl. And I got to reconnect with a lot of amazing people from First Solar. Shout out to my Fin2 people. Sorry I quit, but not really.
It's a love-hate relationship.
It is.
So what does the title mean? Was the character inspired by a real person?
To quote my editor, okay, Atlas, when I got kind of, okay, hold on. To quote my editor, okay, Atlas, after I got playfully snarky with her, I actually base a little bit of Atlas's personality off myself. We're both very snarky and sarcastic, but at the end of the day, we mean very well. The nephew character, Rio, is actually also inspired by myself, but it was more of like an inner child. Like writing Rio was almost like healing my inner child.
Interesting.
I grew up with parents who weren't always emotionally there for me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay. I still love them. And I wanted to give my inner child that love that she deserved.
I
Yeah.
think I understand.
Yeah.
What do you think happened to the characters after the book ended?
Oh man, I can't say. We're falling into spoiler territory. You're gonna have to read to find out. No, I'm just kidding. And then actually, I will tell you, if you're a fan of spaghetti, you might not be after one particular scene. My friend Cass messaged me as soon as they read that, and they're like, thanks, I will be traumatized for weeks. But it's a character who deserved it, so.
Oh, okay. What
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite authors?
I do. I have lots of authors.
Let's
We would be here all day, but I'll just narrow it down to a few. So I was a big fan of Ransom Riggs, who wrote Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It was a very fascinating and dark book that is also interactive. I loved that the author took all of these really creepy black and white and sepia tone pictures of just really uncanny images, and he placed them in parts of the book where it actually lined up with the story.
I like that.
Yeah, I did too. I would actually really love to do something like that. The book really kept me on the edge of my seat, and it definitely inspired a lot of my future projects that I worked on.
Interesting.
Another author that I was really fond of growing up with, Jennifer Donnelly. She wrote the book Revolution, which was a big read of mine back in high school. That was like my big escape from a lot of the stuff I was going through. The character in the book is also going through a lot of grief from losing a family member, and I don't know, I was just able to connect with her so well. And then Mary Downing Hahn wrote a great book called Wait Till Helen Comes. It's a really spooky story, and surprisingly, I was actually really surprised my mom let me read it because it's more of a middle grade book, but it was like horrifying.
Interesting.
It kept me up. And my other favorite, I don't want to call her my favorite author because I don't actually like her, but I love her series. I loved the Twilight series.
Every female
I
did
swear.
around our age group.
And listen, you could ask me today and you could ask me back in high school if I was Team Edward or Team Jacob, but I knew what I wanted. I knew what I liked. I'm Team Carlisle all the way.
I think we all know why.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm still believe it or not, Twilight actually still has a very big fandom online, especially. I want to shout out the Ratties. If you know, you know. We all are very critical of Stephanie Meyer, and especially like her use of the Clayette tribe in Twilight and profiting off billions. So the group of Ratties, which is like a very specific Facebook group, we actually get together. I think it's like once or twice a year to raise money for the tribe.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
I think last year, I think the last one, I think we managed to raise like $14,000.
Wow.
Which was fantastic because right now the Clayette tribe is actually trying to move all their people away from the cliffs because essentially like one big storm could wipe them out.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
That's horrible to hear, but it's good that you're raising money.
Yeah, yeah. We want to do the work that Stephanie Meyer won't.
That's really sad.
I know, right?
I don't know if we can legally get into that.
No, I don't think we can. we'll put that aside for now.
Cool.
That was very natural.
Is there anything as a closing part you want to say to the viewers?
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to be a little weird. Weird is what makes the world go round. Weirdos are the reason why we have movies and art and everything fun. Wear the fancy outfits, dance in the streets, sing in the store, write in the cafe. Just don't let others dull your sparkle.
I like that. I really like that.
Thank you.
Well, Ellie, thank you for your time today.
Absolutely.
And that's actually a closing to this episode, hopefully the first of a many in a series I'm trying to do where I interview our community. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thanks. Bye, guys.